My wife and I were married in July of 2010. At that point, her walk was a lot stronger than mine. I would say she was a spiritual leader. I was just kind of like along for the ride.
So, I mean, when we got married, we both had spending habits that weren't quite so awesome.
Most people's parents have a nice home or a paid-for home, really nice cars. We tried to pick up where our parents left off. So we bought one brand new car and we moved to a luxury condo in Palatine. I brought a lot of debt into the marriage. I had credit card debt, I had student loan debt. I remember having, at times in our marriage, you know, like a couple of dollars in our checking account and like, man, I really hope that that paycheck comes in soon, like even though I knew when it was gonna come.
As we sunk further into debt, there was a particular time in our marriage where he was obsessed with pickup trucks.
I just remember like just consuming all my time was like researching trucks and how much money it would cost. And I remember being like on the couch next to my wife and so out of tune with what she needed. She would be sitting there like longing for my love and like saying, you know, wanting me to like hold her hand or tell her that I love her or, you know, obsess about her a little bit.
But I remember sitting on our couch one day in this really pretty apartment that we had in downtown Palatine and just through really soft tears telling Kurt, you know, I don't believe in divorce, but this is the situation. How are we gonna get out of it?
I knew at that time, all right, Kurt, like, you're an idiot. You need to figure this out.
Small group is so essential to young married couples. Somebody is scratching their head wondering, what did I do here? Who did I marry? Is this thing, like, is this how it's supposed to be? And to hear other people say, yeah, of course. You know, we hit that too and we worked it out. Knowing that you can work through anything and get to a good place with it is something that comes out really strongly and powerfully in small group.
Kurt was being poured into through the men in our Bible study. You could see kind of like an attitude change as he was being poured into and as we were serving and he was listening to the messages and really hearing them is when his faith really started to deepen. And then we had been serving quite a while, but we hadn't become members yet. And Kurt was actually the one that wanted to become members.
And it was at that point in time through the interview process that I'm like, I'm gonna get baptized. I think people need to know that I'm gonna live my life for the Lord.
March 3rd, 2013 at the 9 a.m. service was when he decided to get baptized.
Truly amazing. Like, it's one of those things that's engraved in my head. I remember like people in our small group were like in the front row taking pictures and so cool. Like, it wasn't just like a nonchalant like, oh, you're getting baptized, cool. During that time, that was when Harvest actually started to implement Financial Peace University. Elizabeth and I were like totally on board because we knew that our finances were a mess.
Our first meeting, we really laid down what the Lord had to say about finances, letting them know He had a lot to say in His Word about finances.
They asked everybody to write down on a card anonymously how many credit cards they had, how much they had in debt. We had about 118, 120 in debt. After Dean totaled everything up, the whole group came out to, I think, 160. So when he told how much debt the group had, Kurt and I kind of sly-eyed one another and knew that we made up almost all of it.
From that point on, they went after it like no one else I've ever seen.
We moved out into an outdated condo, but for much cheaper rent. I love trendy restaurants, the little tacos that are like $8 a piece, that's my jam. You know, we spent like $400 a month eating out, and we cut it down to 80. And there's no more trendy small tacos, it's, you know, Portillo's. A couple months later, I got a second job to help bring in extra money to pay off the credit cards. We ended up selling our cars and buying just really cheap cars with cash. And then we just kept snowballing and the debt kept getting smaller and smaller.
At the end, you tally up how much debt and how you paid off and how much you save up, and like we wrote it down on a whiteboard and like took a picture of it.
Definitely saw a change in their marriage. Teamwork describes it best, that they began to work together toward this goal. As they came together in that part of their lives, in the financial part, I think they came together in a lot of other areas of their lives as well.
Getting in a small group is probably one of the things that strengthened our marriage the most.
Just being able to have each other to hold each other accountable and to dig deeper.
It takes it to a whole new level, not just your relationship with the Lord, but all the relationships that you may have with friends and family and your spouse. It's been a blessing. Our friends, we often say that our friends that we met at small group are the people that we're doing life with.
I know people get intimidated about it because they might be getting plugged in with people they don't know, but I can tell you that our first small group at Harvest was with people we had never met before, and I can tell you that every one of those couples that was there, they're like family.
He's been much better about hearing me when I say, we need to spend quality time together, and he's really made an effort to do that.
4 or 5 years ago, Kurt was interested in the things that Kurt was interested in. Fast forward to now, I'm living my life to serve the Lord. I'm living my life to take care of my family.
Small groups are designed to both identify and attack those strongholds in our lives, not through advice, not through worldly advice or sage wisdom, but through God's word, through the power of Christ and His Spirit, to see people discipled and to see people sanctified.